Have you ever noticed how people treat what's always available as something disposable? When you constantly give, constantly reach out, and constantly make an effort, it stops being appreciated. It becomes expected. And the moment something becomes expected, it loses its value. But the second you step back, withdraw your energy, and go silent, something fascinating happens. Suddenly, they start to wonder. They question why you aren't calling, why you aren't replying, why you aren't putting in the effort anymore. And it's in that moment that they start to feel the weight of your absence. You see, human nature is wired to crave what it can't easily have. When something is always there, it's taken for granted, but the second it disappears, the mind starts to obsess over it. This is why stepping back is so powerful. It forces people to confront the space you once filled. They start reminiscing, questioning, and even missing the presence they once dismissed. This is not about manipulation. This is about reclaiming your value. Because the truth is, people only respect what they fear losing. If you've been feeling overlooked, unappreciated, or drained from constantly giving, it's time to step back. Not as a punishment, but as a necessary shift in dynamics. When you stop feeding energy into people who don't reciprocate, you disrupt the cycle. And that disruption is what makes them realize your worth. The beauty of this, you don't have to beg, argue, or convince anyone. Just step back, stay silent, and let your absence speak volumes. Have you ever heard the saying, distance makes the heart grow fonder? It's not just a cliche, it's psychology. People tend to remember things more fondly when they're no longer accessible. There's a psychological principle known as reactance. It explains why humans resist when they feel something is being taken away. When you pull back, you trigger this reaction. Suddenly, they start valuing what they had because they fear it might be gone for good. When you're always available, there's no sense of urgency for them to appreciate you. But when you remove yourself, their brain perceives a loss. And loss is one of the most powerful motivators in human psychology. It's why people chase after things once they're gone, why they suddenly regret when they didn't before, and why nostalgia makes the past seem better than it actually was. Your silence creates space for them to reflect, to miss, and to realize. Think about it. When you stop texting, they start wondering why. When you stop checking in, they start questioning if you've moved on. When you stop prioritizing them, they start craving the attention they once ignored. And before they even realize it, they're drawn back to you. Not because you forced them, but because you let them experience what life feels like without you. The lesson? People don't realize what they have until it's missing. And sometimes the only way to make them see your worth is to stop proving it. Let them come to their own realization. That's when it truly matters. Something incredible happens when you stop chasing people. You become the one they chase. It's an emotional shift that changes everything. The moment you step back, you send a powerful message. Your worth is not tied to their validation. And when people sense that energy, they naturally become more drawn to you. There's something magnetizing about someone who knows their value, someone who isn't begging for attention, someone who exudes quiet confidence. It's why we're naturally intrigued by people who don't seem desperate for our approval. When you go silent, you shift the power dynamic. You no longer seek their validation, and that change makes them question everything. They start wondering if they misjudged you, if they lost something valuable, if they should have treated you differently. And that's when the tables turn. The very people who overlooked you, who took you for granted, who assumed you'd always be there, start to rethink. They start testing the waters, maybe with a, "Hey, how have you been?" or a random check-in. But here's where you need to stay firm. Don't rush to respond. Don't fall back into old habits. Let them feel what it's like to be without your constant attention. Because the moment they feel that void, they'll start craving what they once ignored. This is how you shift from being the one who chases to the one who is chased. And once you're in that position, you get to decide who truly deserves your time. Now, stepping back doesn't mean ghosting people or being cold. It's about intentional detachment, removing your energy in a way that creates space without causing drama. The key is subtlety. Instead of announcing that you're pulling back, simply do it. Respond slower. Reduce your availability. Invest your time elsewhere. When they ask if something's wrong, just say, "I've been busy." Let them feel the change without making it obvious. Because the truth is, people pay more attention to what's missing than to what's given freely. Think about it. When someone changes their behavior, we instinctively notice. That's human nature. If you've always been the one initiating conversations, let them reach out first. If you've always been the one making plans, let them be the one to suggest something. If they truly value you, they'll make an effort. And if they don't, that tells you everything you need to know. Stepping back isn't about playing games. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about setting the standard that your time, your presence, and your energy are valuable. And the only people who deserve it are those who reciprocate it. The moment you master this, you start seeing a shift. The right people will step up, the wrong ones will fade away, and you'll finally be in control. Silence is uncomfortable. It forces people to confront their thoughts, their emotions, and most importantly, the space you once filled. The moment you step back and stop initiating, people start to notice. They may not say it immediately, but they feel it. There's a sudden realization that the energy you brought, the effort you made, and the presence you had is no longer there. And that's when the curiosity kicks in. They start to wonder, did something happen? Did I do something wrong? Have they moved on? This curiosity leads to discomfort, and discomfort leads to action. You see, most people don't realize your value when you're constantly showing up. They assume you'll always be there, available, waiting. But when you go silent, when you stop reacting, it shakes their reality. They start noticing the little things, how no one else checks in the way you did, how the conversations feel different without your presence, how life seems a little emptier without you. And that's when they start creeping back in, sending random messages, liking old posts, finding excuses to reconnect. They don't do it because they just remembered you. They do it because they feel your absence. And that's the beauty of silence. It forces them to acknowledge your worth without you having to prove it. The power isn't in what you say, it's in what you don't say. And when they finally come back, it won't be because you begged. It will be because they realized on their own just how much they need you. Confidence is magnetic. Desperation repels. When you're always available, always reaching out, always putting in effort, it can come off as needy, even when your intentions are pure. But when you step back, something shifts. You're no longer chasing, you're no longer proving, you're no longer begging for attention, and that energy is powerful. People are naturally drawn to confidence. When someone senses that you're okay without them, that you don't need their validation, they start wanting your attention even more. Why? Because confidence creates mystery. It makes them wonder what changed, why you're no longer reacting the way you used to. And that curiosity